The Cloudian Archetype are a series of primarily water fairy monsters that take inspiration from real-world weather phenomenons that usually have something to do with clouds. Their archetypal gimmick is that they rely on fog counters in order to use their special abilities. As well, most of the members of the archetype cannot be destroyed by battle due to their effect, unless they are switched into defense position, where if they are, they will self-destruct. You know, just like a real cloud. The Cloudians made their anime debut with Yugioh as his first deck in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series. Their real-world debut was in the Gladiators Assault Booster Pack back in 2007. They would later receive more support in Light of Destruction 1 year later. How about we take a look at each one of the Cloudians and find out what weather event inspired their names and designs. Starting with Cloudian Smokeball. The only vanilla Cloudian monster in the archetype, its flavor text reads, Smokeballs are newly born Cloudians. They fear being alone and would rather swing and sway in the sky with their friends. Despite Smokeball's adorable appearance, they are oddly one of the most impure Cloudian monsters based on their real-world origin, which is of course to smoke. Smoke is formed as a byproduct of combustion, such as during fires. It occurs more specifically when all of the solid, liquid and gas particulates collect together in the air to form it. The moral of the story is, if you're trapped in a room with a bunch of these guys, try not to breathe any of them in unless you want to get a case of the old carbon monoxide poisoning. Looking at this monster's artwork, we can see that it is the same monster that appears in the artwork of Cloudian Turbulence as well, which makes sense as Turbulence's ability allows him to special summon these monsters to the field. Another card Smokeball appears in is the spell card Natural Tune. It is being referenced in that as the level 4 or lower normal monster required for that card's ability to turn it into a tuner. Now all we need is an actual Cloudian Synchro monster, and while we're at it, might as well have a Cloudian Link monster too. Why not? Cloudian Sheep Cloud. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 2 Cloudian tokens. Fairy type water, level 1, attack 0, defense 0 in defense position. These tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon unless it is for a Cloudian monster. Cloudian Sheep Cloud is based on a type of cloud called a cumulus cloud, which is identifiable by its fluffy-like appearance. You could say it is almost sheep-like. Hey, you see what they did there? Very clever. In fact, we have a lot of parallels between this monster and the cloud that it is based on. For example, cumulus clouds are known to form both by themselves as well as in clusters. This could be referenced by how when this monster is destroyed, it reappears as 2 new clouds. In fact, the word cumulus itself is Latin for pile, further referencing this monster's association with several of itself. Its second parallel is to the fact that cumulus clouds are seen as precursors to other types of weather events. This is because they are so easily influenced by other external factors. So of course, since Cloudian Sheep Cloud's ability is to summon tokens, specifically for the purpose of summoning a new type of Cloudian monster, we can really see that every detail about this cloud has been applied to this monster's effect. And another thing worth mentioning is that Cloudian Sheep Cloud could be referencing the act of counting sheep, as the monster is called Sheep Cloud. And since they pretty much look like sheep, and there's that expression, sleeping on a bed of clouds, I imagine if we were to try and count all of the sheep clouds on this artwork, it would probably put us to sleep. Well, there's only one way to find out, I guess. 1, 2... Cloudian Ghost Fog. This card cannot be special summoned. All battle damage to either player from a battle involving this monster becomes 0. If this card is destroyed by battle, distribute new fog counters equal to the level of the monster that destroyed it among face-up monsters. Cloudian Ghost Fog is rather on the nose, but is of course referencing a type of cloud that lies extremely low to the ground, known as fog. Fog forms when water vapor is condensed into small water droplets in the air. This results in an eye-level cloud which drastically reduces your own visibility. So the question becomes, how does this apply to the monster? Well, fog is heavily influenced by whatever is the closest form of moisture, which in turn can determine the fog's overall size. This is just like how Cloudian Ghost Fog is able to distribute more of its fog counters depending on the level of the the monster that destroyed it. Going a little further too, the fact that this monster is immune to all battle damage could allude to both its cloud and fog influences, as well as it being referred to as a ghost. Since ghosts are intangible and clouds themselves can't really be grabbed, it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to take any damage from ghost fog, nor receive any, I guess. I mean, it's worth mentioning as well that if you've seen any spooky films, ghosts are always appearing out of fogs as well. They absolutely love that kind of thing. So this monster's naming connotation, ghosts and fogs, they fit perfectly. Cloudian Poison Cloud. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, if it was face up at the start of the damage step, destroy the monster that destroyed it, and if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Now, Cloudian Poison Cloud is based on a very scary real-world event, where an evil, toxic cloud descends from the sky that, if you get caught in it, slowly saps at your health. This event is known simply as the Poison Cloud phenomenon. Yeah, there's no such thing as that. I'm only joking. That was made up. What it is actually based on is technically just as scary, but it's a bit more mundane, and that is pollution, specifically air pollution. Now, polluted air is a result of harmful gases and molecules making its way up into the atmosphere. So as such, knowing this monster is based on pollution itself, it's interesting that its ability is that it is able to destroy a monster on the field with its toxicity through its effect, and even go a little step further by further damaging the player for an extra 800 life points. Though just an assumption, this monster appears in the artwork of Fog Control, where the monster is depicted being sliced in half. Could this be Konami's subtle reference to clean up our own planet by cutting down on the bad for the environment machines, so that we ourselves can take control of our environment and eliminate air pollution or Cloudian poison clouds? Well, I'm not so sure. That might be a bit of a stretch, but hey, that's just a theory. A Yu-Gi-Oh theory. Cloudian Acid Cloud. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When you normal summon this card, place 1 fog counter on it for each Cloudian monster on the field. You can remove 2 fog counters from this card to destroy 1 spell or trap card. Sticking with another bad for the environment cloud, Cloudian Acid Cloud is of course a reference to acid rain, a type of rain that is so acidic through pollution it causes environmental damage to whatever it makes contact with. Oh my god, this video feels more like a PSA so far. Be good to your Cloudian cards. Anyway, acid rain, though usually a product of humans from them burning coal and fossil fuels, it can in fact occur naturally due to volcanoes, as they add sulfur and nitrogen compounds into the atmosphere, in turn making some clouds more acidic in nature. Knowing that, we can see that this monster's acidic influences are used in its ability to destroy spell and trap cards. You could look at it like it's trying to melt through one of them, if you will. In fact, since this is the first one of the Cloudians we've mentioned so far that has the "this card cannot be destroyed in battle" ability, which is going to be applied to a lot more of the cards we're going to talk about later in the list, but I do just want to quickly mention this. The ability of this card not being able to be destroyed in battle could just be a nod to how you can't actually, grab a cloud. It makes sense that they can't be destroyed in battle themselves. And if I'm honest, I really wish that Cloudian Smoke Ball was the one to have this battle destruction immunity effect, only because I'd be able to use this clip from Harry Potter and it would have been used in context.
It's like trying to catch smoke. Like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands.
Ah, well, maybe next time, maybe Smoke Ball might get an errata. Cloudian Atlas. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When you normal summon this card, place 1 fog counter on it for each Cloudian monster on the field. You can remove 3 fog counters from anywhere on the field to discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand. The strongest of the level 4 Cloudians with a whopping 1300 attack. This monster is based on an altus cloud, which are basically the clouds you see when you go outside and the sky is like caked in a sea of grey. That's what they are. They typically form when a large volume of air causes unseeable water vapor to condense together into a cloud known as an altostratus cloud. In fact, there are 3 types of stratus clouds that are usually grouped together. These are altostratus, nimbostratus, and cirrostratus. Altostratus should be in the middle in terms of cloud darkness, with cirrostratus being the lightest and nimbostratus being the darkest. Knowing that, that and looking at Atlas, Nimbus Man, and Cirrostratus, we can see that Konami did take this into consideration when they made these cards. Cloudian Cirrostratus. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When you normal summon this card, place 1 fog counter on it for each Cloudian monster on the field. You can remove 2 fog counters from this card to destroy 1 monster on the field. Cloudian Cirrostratus is based on a cirrostratus cloud, which is basically a very high, very thin type of cloud made up of ice crystals. And the best way to notice them is, sometimes when you peer up at the moon and there's an almost like halo ring emanating from it? That is a result of the cirrostratus clouds, since they are made up of ice crystals. The moon's light is being refracted through the ice, which gives it its unique halo-like look. The etymology of this monster and the cloud's name of cirrostratus is made up of cirrus, meaning wisp-like, and stratus, meaning layered. Since wisps are usually associated with glowing spirits in marshlands, I guess you can kind of see the parallels. Also, as a side note, the monsters that appear in the artwork of this card all kind of look like cats, most obvious by their ears, whiskers, and tail. I'm not too sure why they're cats, but it makes sense why Cloudian Cirrostratus is being sucked up by the wind in the trap card Updraft, since they must have been trying to catch the birds from Whirlwind Prodigy before they all got sucked up and caught. Cloudian Turbulence. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When you normal summon this card, place 1 fog counter on it for each Cloudian monster on the field. You can remove 1 fog counter from this card to special summon 1 Cloudian Smoke Ball from your deck or from either player's graveyard. Cloudian Turbulence, as its name suggests, is based on turbulence, which if you've been on a few plane journeys, you might have experienced yourself. It occurs when there is a sudden change in the airflow, resulting in a plane rocking. Looking at Turbulence's effect and artwork, the monster that this card is able to summon is Cloudian Smoke Ball, which of course is the monster that also appears in its artwork. Cloudian Storm Dragon. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card can only be special summoned by removing from play 1 Cloudian monster from your graveyard. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. Once per turn, you can place 1 fog counter on 1 monster on the field. Cloudian Storm Dragon is based on the severe weather condition known as a storm. A storm can refer to a lot of things. It's basically whenever the atmosphere just isn't feeling like itself. This can result in a lot of different types of storms depending on the environment, like a thunderstorm, a snowstorm, a rainstorm, an ice storm, a windstorm, a dust storm, a sandstorm, the root sandstorm. Since a storm is usually the extreme of many of the other weather conditions mentioned today, it feels like when Cloudian Storm Dragon is summoned to the field by banishing a monster, it's as if it's saying, get out of the way, Turbulence, I'll show you some real erratic wind. Cloudian Nimbus Man. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. You can tribute any number of water monsters for the tribute summon of this card. When this card is tribute summoned, place 1 fog counter on it for each water monster you tributed. This card gains 500 attack for each fog counter on the field. Cloudian Nimbus Man gets its name from...
Come on, my new Nimbus, let's go!
Close. It's actually based on Cumulo Nimbus Cloud.
Cumulonimbus clouds like this one here form near the ocean and usually cause really bad storms. Chaz was right. Yeah, he is a dork.
This type of cloud is very dense, due to it being formed by a powerful updraft of water vapor. They are also known as thunderheads, as they are able to produce lightning as well as tornadoes. So as you can see, cumulonimbus clouds are not to be messed with, and nor is Cloudian Nimbus Man itself, as he has the potential to be the most powerful monster in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. In terms of raw attack power, of course, with its potential at reaching 1.5 million attack. Okay, so obviously this is the extreme version and would require the opponent to go along with it as well, but the way it roughly works is this. You and your opponent both have a 60 card deck, and towards the start of the duel you get 5 monsters to the field, with 1 being Nimbus Man. You'll also need to activate all 3 copies of Cloudian Squall from your deck. The other player gets 5 monsters to the field as well. Then you just leave the field as it is for the rest of the 50-ish turns remaining. Then, due to the effect of Cloudian Squalls, Nimbus Man will reach roughly around 800,000 attack. Plus, if your opponent is working with you too, then it will be doubled up to 1.5 million. Who would have thought a couple of clouds could do so much damage? Oh wait. Cloudian Eye of the Typhoon. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When this card declares an attack, change the battle position of all face-up monsters except Cloudian monsters. So Cloudian Eye of the Typhoon is based on a tornado. I mean, a twister. No, a hurricane. A cyclone? A typhoon. Wait, what's the actual difference? Can there actually be so many different ways wind can violently rotate? Well, actually no. A tornado, twister, hurricane, cyclone, and a typhoon are all pretty much the same thing. They really only have different names simply depending on what country they occur in. For example, Australia calls theirs tropical cyclones, the USA calls them hurricanes, and the one that we are focused on at the moment is a typhoon, of which Asia gives its name. Anyway, the Eye of the Typhoon in this card's name, and reiterated by its single eye design, refers to the common expression of being in the eye of the storm, which refers to the central section of the tornado or typhoon, which is for the most part pretty calm in comparison. In this center though, all around you would be the inner walls of the storm, acting as a barrier made of thunder and violent winds. By the way, as a fun fact about hurricanes, and just before we get off of it, if you've ever wondered how hurricanes get their names or like who the person is that names them, sadly there is an actual already preset list of determined male and female names that are used in a 6-year rotation. However, for the record, God forbid it, but if there are like 18 hurricanes in 2021, which is I think how it works, I will officially have a storm named after me. Storm Sam. Bring it on. By the way, I love the fact that this monster's attack is known as the Perfect Storm in the dub and the sub, which is a clear nod to the film of the same name. As well, this monster appears in Raging Cloud, and finally, this is the only Cloudian monster to break the archetype's attribute of water, instead being a wind monster. Finally, the support cards, Cloudian Squall. During each of your standby phases, place 1 fog counter on every face-up monster. Raging Cloudian, activate only when a Cloudian monster you control is destroyed by its own effect and sent to the graveyard. Special summon one of those monsters from your graveyard in attack position and place 1 fog counter on it. It cannot be changed to defense position by a card effect. Fog Control, tribute 1 face-up Cloudian monster you control, place 3 fog counters on 1 face-up monster. Lucky Cloud, during the end phase, if you summon 2 or more Cloudian monsters with the same name this turn, draw 2 cards. Natural Disaster, inflict 500 damage to your opponent each time a card they control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by the effect of a Cloudian monster. Rainstorm, select 1 Cloudian monster you control, reduce that monster's attack by 1000 or 2000 and apply the appropriate effect. 1000 points, destroy 1000 points, destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. 2000 points, destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. Summon Cloud, once per turn during your main phase. If you don't control any monsters, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Cloudian monster from your hand or from either player's graveyard. If you special summon a monster from the graveyard with this effect, destroy this card. Diamond Dust, Cyclone, select 1 monster with 4 or more fog counters, destroy it and then draw 1 card for every 4 counters that were on it. Updraft, remove all fog counters from the field, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each fog counter you removed. Patreon shoutout time. Thank you very much to CBCBCBCB, J24092, Yugioh Light, Dylan Cunin, Audrey Wang, The Gengar King, Barrett Jackson Daly, Aztec Dragon, Jack Sisson, Chung Ming Zen, David Shanahan, and to everybody else, thank you very much for supporting the channel, guys. You're all legends.